Ever heard the phrase blast processing? No? Well, let me explain.
Blast processing was a marketing blur that Sega made up to say that their system was better than the Super Nintendo. But in reality, it wasn't. Except for one thing, the processor. Yep, the one thing the system was better at was the processor, which in turn made the phrase blast processing, which basically means the games can go at a faster rate. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, Sonic 2 was one of those games that had commercials saying it had blast processing. And that makes sense because, Sonic can run at a fast speed.
Marketing blurs aside, how's the actual game? Well, let's find out.
We should have a little background before we play. Sonic 1 was a huge success not only for Sega, but competing with the Super Nintendo, eventually making Sonic 1 the pack-in game for the system. So, what do you do with a successful game? Make a sequel, of course. Before development even started for Sonic 2, Yuji Naka, the game's programmer, left Sega because of disagreements with some company policies. He eventually joined a division of Sega America, and the game was actually developed in America. Development started around 5 months after the release of Sonic 1, and this is what we got. The game was released on November 24th, 1992. This day was known as Sonic Tuesday. So, here it is, the one and only. So, how's the game itself? Well, we should look at the plot first. The evil Dr. Robotnik is once again trying to take over the world with his use of his robot minions and his new weapon, the Death Egg. He needs to steal the 7 Chaos Emeralds to power the Death Egg. So once again, it's up to Sonic and his new friend Miles Tails Prower to stop the Doctor before it's too late. How did Sonic and Tails meet? Well, Tails saw Sonic running, and he followed him.
So basically, he's Sonic's stalker. Before her!
Stalking aside, you can actually play as Tails if you have a second controller. He plays the same as Sonic, and in one-player mode, he keeps his invincibility, pretty much making the game very easy. Okay, now as for the gameplay, it remains the same. You still have the awesome momentum-based platforming the last game had. The only thing that's new with the controls is the spin dash, where if you hold the down button and mash the ever-living shit out of the jump button, then you could go super fast. You still have rings that can help you get an extra hit before you die. You still have monitors that give you items. Now as for the stages, there are now only 2 acts per zone, but the levels are designed to go longer. And the bosses are at the end of Act 2. More on that later. Now for all the zones, I think we should go in order. Emerald Hill Zone. It's basically another version of Green Hill Zone, except with more color. And once again, it's a great start to the game. Chemical Plant Zone. It's very colorful, has lots of slopes to really show off its blast processing, and an extremely awesome song accompanying the acts. It also holds the first water section in the game. And I know it doesn't look like much, but when I first played this game, I used to die to this all the time. Anyway, Aquatic Ruin Zone. It's basically the water levels in the game, except if you know what you're doing, you won't hit the water. Casino Night Zone. It's bright, it resembles a casino, and it holds a series staple, having bumpers everywhere, making the level go longer. Yay! Hilltop Zone. It's blue, it's full of lava, and the ground shakes, changing the terrain. And that's really it. It's certainly no Blue Hill Zone. Mystic Cave Zone. It's dark, has many vines to pull, and many spikes to traverse. Speaking of spikes, this zone holds an infamous obstacle, the pit. There's no way to escape it, and it's a beginner's trap.
What the fuck? Just went through the bridge, that's so stupid!
Oil Ocean Zone. It's basically an oil plant. Definitely a lot of orange in the background, and it has these cannons that are similar to the barrels in Donkey Kong Country. Look at this, the place should be up in flames by now! Metropolis Zone. This is the only zone in the game to have 3 acts, and man can it be frustrating. Aside from the fact that there's bottomless pits everywhere, spiked platforms, and very weird level design that makes the level drag, there's also these 3 assholes. Octoroks, Shellcrackers, and Splicers. Fuck them all. Octoroks split into 5 little spikes and can hit you. Shellcrackers extend their arm and can hit you too, and they're usually placed in areas with low ceilings. And the one and only Splicers. Fuck these things! These things throw a spiked ring at you and can easily hurt you, and their placement in the levels are very dickish. Oh god, okay, I just missed it. Oh, fucker. Yeah, how's it feel now? Now I'm just gonna go onto the level, everything's gonna be fuck you! Ranting aside though, let's get back to the game. Sky Chase Zone. This is only one act, and you're basically on the tornado avoiding enemies. After that, it's another one-act zone, Winged Fortress Zone. You're jumping over bottomless pits on Robotnik's ship to make it to the boss. Besides the intro and the outro of the level, it doesn't really seem to be interesting. And finally, Death Egg Zone. Just go into the right, and that's it. You have two bosses to battle, Silver Sonic and Robotnik, and that's it. You have no rings during this battle, so you should have some very good reflexes to pass this, and if you do, you get a satisfying ending. Now for the boss battles, they're still pathetically easy as before, with the exception of the final boss. They're very slow and very easy to figure out their patterns. Now as for the special stages, they're now half-pipe segments in sort of a pseudo 3D style. You enter these stages by having at least 50 rings at a checkpoint, and then you jump into a ring. I really don't like these stages. Besides having this asshole jumping to every spike ball in one-player mode, you really need to memorize all of these stages. What you have to do is collect a certain amount of rings to get the Chaos Emerald. If you don't, you fail, even though you're right next to the damn thing. Like I said before, you need to memorize these stages to even have a chance at beating them. And if you do, you get Super Sonic making his first appearance. He floats faster than running, and jumps higher. You activate him by jumping twice in the air if he at least have 50 rings. And boom, Super Sonic. He's pretty much invincible to everything in the game except drowning, being crushed, and bottomless pits. There's also a 2-player mode. What you're basically doing is running across levels, and it's Sonic and Tails racing, and that's basically it. It's a little bit disorienting for both the screens being on one screen, but other than that, this is fine, and also having different music is kinda cool. Well, what about them graphics? Well, I think the graphics are more colorful and detailed than the last game. They definitely look great for the Genesis. And the music is even better than the last game. It's definitely more diverse, using different instruments, and my favorite tracks are Chemical Plant Zone, Casino Night Zone, and Metropolis Zone songs. Even though I find Metropolis Zone to be frustrating, I'm still bopping my head to the level song.
So, overall, what do I think?
Sonic 2 does what the last game did in a much better way. It improved some of the problems the last game had, and also made some new staples in the series. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's definitely an awesome sequel. Sonic 2 was actually the first classic Sonic game I ever played. I had fun when I played it back when I was little, and I still have fun with it today. This did, once again, help out Sega, making Sonic 2 one of the highest selling games on the Genesis with 6 million copies in its lifespan. And once again, this game is extremely easy to find in-box cheap, just don't expect the manual.
So, what's the next game for the Sonic series? Well, stick around and you'll see the review of Sonic 3 for the Sega Genesis. I'll see you guys then.